This episode of Sports Caffeine is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-belt grooming. Manscaped offers precision engineering tools for your family jewels. They obsess over their technology developments to provide you the best tools for your grooming experience. Go to manscaped.com and get 20% off plus free shipping with the code SC2020. Your balls will thank you. And now, Sports Caffeine.
It's time to wake up, recover from last night's mess, and get your fix of sports caffeine. It's time to kickstart your day with the latest sports news and opinions. Get ready. Sports Caffeine is live in 3, 2, 1.
Good morning and welcome back to another episode of Sports Caffeine. I'm Kaylee Chikoski and I'm here with Chip and El Bushman. How are you guys this morning?
Oh, you can go first.
I love it when you give me the honors. Woo-hoo! Doing good, recovering. You know, yesterday was a football bonanza. You know, coverage started at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I didn't shut my eyes till, after midnight praying for fantasy. So I'm a little tired this morning.
I am tired as well. My dog had diarrhea last night, and I hate fantasy football. So, yeah, I'm doing okay. But the Rays are playing in the World Series, and Game 1 is tonight. So, yeah.
Excitement.
They are.
Excitement all
Yeah. It's very exciting, and I can't relate to the staying up to midnight. I love football, but 9 p.m. is my bedtime, so that's when I go to bed. So I just wake up and I'm like, what happened? Because I don't have time for that. So we're going to jump in. We were graced with a 5 p.m. Monday Night Football doubleheader.
Oh, fantastic.
I mean, 2 fantastic games, maybe not the second one so much, but the first one, a treat for Monday early evening, if I do say so myself. So Josh Allen, we were high on him at the beginning of the season. We're talking MVP conversation. Who is Josh Allen? Because last night he was 14 for 27, 122 yards. Is he still anywhere near this MVP conversation? Are the Bills a team that we need to even worry about going forward after these 2 weeks where they looked pretty dismal? Chip, we'll start with you.
I think they are, Kaylee, and I think that, last night, or yesterday afternoon, actually, when you saw the weather conditions and what they were kind of going up against, it was like 50 degrees. It was a little bit windy, and the ball was really slipping. So both teams kind of, I think, changed their game plans on the fly or had kind of a different take on the game. But this is 2 games in a row, kind of what you said of just seeing middle-of-the-road Josh Allen. I know a lot of fantasy owners, which I have him. You got to be a little bit nervous on where you're going into because the Bills, I think, are getting ready to enter obviously, the Chiefs are a very tough part of the schedule considering they're Super Bowl champs, but I think they have tougher games coming up. So we'll have to see. But I still think he's in that talk. What do you think, El Bushman?
I don't know. I'm kind of like in the middle now because we've seen some cracks in Josh Allen's armor because I'm looking at the schedule right now. Who they've played so far. Start off with the Jets, Dolphins, and then Rams, Raiders, and then the 2 losses to the Titans and the Chiefs. Titans and the Chiefs, pretty good teams. They're in the conversation about going to the playoffs and going further than that. I mean, I want to say he's still in that conversation, but after these 2 losses, I think it drops him out of that conversation because now, I mean, guys like, Russell Wilson, guys like Derrick Henry, who you can put in that conversation for the MVP, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar. I think after watching yesterday's game, we've definitely seen the human side of Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen definitely has come back to earth 2 weeks in the row, and then coming up, look, you're playing the Jets this coming week, and then you got the Patriots, and then the Seahawks and the Cardinals. So I honestly think they'll probably be 500 out of those 4 games coming up. So to put him in the conversation still with the MVP race, I think he's dropped out.
Bills defense a little bit to blame, though. What did Clyde Edwards-Helaire have yesterday on the ground? Like 165, 163?
Yeah, he had some. I mean, it's definitely Buffalo has really shown their cracks. So it's
Yeah.
I don't know what they need to do to pick it back up like they did in the first 4 weeks, but it's definitely shown that they're human. And then I don't think they have a grasp on that AFC East yet, even though it's kind of a bad division anyway.
Bumpy division.
Yeah, unlike other divisions we know of.
So, we talked about the Chiefs and Pat Mahomes still being in that MVP conversation, but, yesterday wasn't really that outstanding of a game for him. I mean, he looked good. The team looked good. They're obviously riding the ship after a loss to the Raiders. So what are we expecting from this team? Is this still a Chiefs team that's going to go to the playoffs, potentially the Super Bowl, or is this a team that might make a short playoff run and then have better teams emerge kind of later in the season because they got their ground game going, but Pat Mahomes just doesn't look like last year's Pat Mahomes?
Hey, man, when you sign a large contract like that and get engaged all in the same year, and
have a baby,
having being prego and everything, I mean, maybe distractions.
Maybe.
I mean, looking at the AFC total in general, I mean, they're definitely in that conversation about going deep in the playoffs. I don't think they're going to go back to the Super Bowl. Teams like Baltimore and even Tennessee could even go further than that. So do I think they're going to repeat and go to the Super Bowl? No, I don't think they're going to go back to the Super Bowl. I think in the AFC Championship, they're going to play probably Baltimore and they're probably going to lose. So I think, look, you can say, oh my God, they brought in Le'Veon Bell. I don't think Le'Veon's going to be I don't think he's going to be a factor in that team. I think he's going to be that guy that's going to come in maybe on third down, maybe take a little bit away from Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but I don't think he's going to make that much of an impact on the Kansas City Chiefs. I honestly think Bell's washed up, so he's lucky to be on this team. So I don't know if they're going to go to the Super Bowl again. I don't. Nope.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think that yesterday, when they interviewed Mahomes after the game, he said the game script kind of changed, that Buffalo was running over the top and they kind of were running a deep zone, and they took away Tyreek Hill yesterday. So they were blanketing the side of the field where he was. And we all know that he's a speedster, so they were covering the deep stuff. So I think they stuck to the running game because they would move those safeties back and saw that free, 3 to 5 yard range, and they took advantage of that. So, but they said, Patrick Mahomes even said in the interview that it was tough handing the ball off every single time, not wanting to throw it or start to chuck it down the field. So, Al Bushman, though, I agree with you. I don't think we see a repeating Super Bowl champ. That's very tough to do. But they'll get to the playoffs and they'll make noise, I think.
I mean, they definitely have a nice schedule coming up. You got Broncos, you got to play the Jets, Panthers, Raiders, and then I honestly think the Bucs Chiefs game is going to be after what the Bucs did to the Packers this past Sunday. I think that game's going to be really, really a nice one to see, especially against. It's like the old guard against the versus the old versus new guard. So it's like Tom Brady, the old man, and then you got Patrick Mahomes, who's like the new face of the NFL. So when that game comes up, but other than that, their schedule's pretty favorable for them. So for them, I think what Andy Reid needs to do is just really kind of go back to basics of what they're used to instead of trying to mix things up. So
fair. So our originally scheduled Monday Night Football, the Cardinals went to AT&T Stadium, faced Andy Dalton's Dallas Cowboys. Now, a very, very sloppy game. It was not a great overall NFL game. Ezekiel Elliott fumbling the ball twice, putting the Cardinals in pretty good field position. They take advantage of it. Where do the Cowboys go from here? Is this just it's Andy Dalton stepping into that starting spot the first time, but they look pretty bad on both sides of the ball. So are we going to see a steady decline in this team, or will they get it figured out and at least, go 500 this season? I don't.
Well, in that division, I'm sure
you always have a chance in the NFC least, dude.
They're still in first place with 2 wins.
I know.
Two wins. Like, you can win that division 5-11 or 6-10. I don't know. Do they need to pray to whatever higher power they need to pray to? Does Jerry Jones need to sell his soul again to the devil to get things back to normal? I don't know. Is Tony Romo available? I mean,
available. Look for him.
Does he want to come down from the broadcast booth with all the money he's making there, calling games to come back to Dallas? I mean, they're a mess. Mike McCarthy came out of retirement for this. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what the Cowboys need to do. I mean, it kind of puzzles me because they have all this talent. I mean, their offensive line was terrible. I mean, Andy Dalton was running for his life last night. So what they need to do is maybe sell their souls to the devil and see what happens after that. Because I mean, like I said, they're going to probably win the division anyways because that division is so terrible.
I want to see a subterranean wreck, dude. I want them to go level by level and just keep getting crushed. And now I will say this: Dallas lost an All-Pro guard in Zach Martin last night. Tyron Smith is out for the year. I mean, this is not a team that's playing with a full deck. They're not. They're into their second and thirds on the offensive line. So depth is definitely an issue. But in the NFL, you don't get free passes on injuries because they happen. You have to deal and you have to prepare for them. So. Last night was fantastic. I was lone wolf yesterday on 2 picks, won both of them, Detroit and Arizona. Woo! So, but yeah,
I have to pull up to see who lost pick of yesterday. I think it was maybe Kristen. So
I think
I was going to say it was either Kristen because she picked the Browns, and that was the only pick that she had different from me. So we both did pretty because we had that we lost with the Texans. I mean, and that was so close. And I've never cheered for the Texans harder. I never cheered for them harder because I was like, we just have to beat the guys, and then they blow it with their fun 2-point conversion decisions. So that's fine. That's fine.
Let me see who lost in pick'ems. You talk about
Andy Dalton. I got to tell you. Guys, he's a bad quarterback. The Bengals knew it. They were going to get rid of him. If you're a bad quarterback in the NFL, I don't care if you go to 962 teams, you're still going to be bad.
That's fair.
So Dallas has a lot of good weapons, but they didn't work.
Was he really that bad in Cincinnati, though? Was he really that bad in Cincinnati? I don't think he was that bad in Cincinnati.
He lost the locker room in Cincinnati, and I think
yeah. I just
I think he's just gone to a bad team. I don't think he's bad. I think he's just gone to a bad team. Look, you can say Dallas is great every single year, but every single year they disappoint. So I don't think he's bad. I think the system that he's in is bad because
you can't tell me Dallas is a worse team than Cincinnati. If Dallas is playing with a full deck, it's easily the most talented team that he's played.
But they're not playing with a full deck now. I mean, Andy Dalton was playing on a Marvin Lewis led Cincinnati Bengals team for the longest time, and granted they didn't go into the playoffs, but the numbers he put up were at least decent to be the starter for a long time on that team.
Well, I know, but that was years ago, man. We're looking now at an Andy Dalton who's been in the NFL for a long time, and he might be a good backup, but you can't take a bad quarterback and put him somewhere else and have him be better. That's only happened. Peyton Manning is a Hall of Famer, and he did that and went one place and went somewhere else and did good. Brett Favre is a Hall of Famer, and he kind of did it okay. He got Minnesota to the playoffs.
Ryan Tannehill wasn't that great in Miami, and now he's flourishing in Tennessee.
You better not compare Ryan Tannehill to any of the 2 quarterbacks that I just mentioned.
All right, the last place loser for this past week is Kristen. Yeah. Kristen with 4 wins. Kaylee, you squeaked it out again.
Not me. Look at that.
You are not the loser for the second week in a row. So congratulations.
Exciting streak I've got going. So let me ask you both this question. With Andy Dalton and the Dallas Cowboys playing like they are, does this increase Dak's stock? I mean, because you look at where he was sitting, looking for a contract, looking for, to get paid big. And we all thought an injury is probably the worst thing that can happen, coming out of week 5 early in the season, but does this make him more valuable if they perform, underwhelmingly, even if they do go to the playoffs in a terrible division? Does this kind of give a little more incentive for Jerry Jones to pay him big?
Chip, I'll let you. I'll defer to you.
I think yes, because if you saw the Joneses last night in their box, they were just sitting there like they were just befuddled. Fans were starting to lose it in Dallas Stadium. They were starting to go nuts. So I think it does. And if you're Dallas, you have to have leadership in the huddle. Those games where Dallas gave up a ton of points and then Dak brought them back, he was able to take control of the huddle and go, look, guys, we can dig our way out. Let's one play at a time, or whatever he said, got him to get to that level, to get out of those holes. Andy Dalton doesn't have that, guys. We're thinking about a preseason that was truncated. He didn't have time to talk with anybody. They didn't have a lot of team meetings. Football's a game of continuity and consistency. They don't have any continuity with Andy Dalton as a team, so why would you expect him to go out and do great?
Yeah, I agree with you on that, Chip. I mean, Jerry Jones needs to maybe open the checkbook and go, all right, I'm going to give you not Patrick Mahomes money. I'm not going to give you that. I might give you Aaron Rodgers money, or I might give you Tom Brady money. I'm not going to give you $500 million. Yeah, I think what they need to do is give him that money now instead of waiting on to see, when. Obviously, he's going to be coming back, but like they need to open up the checkbook and be like, hey, when you come back, you're going to be taken care of. There's not going to be these 1-year deals like we did this year. So yeah, the value of him has definitely skyrocketed. Now,
yeah,
the question is, after this year, would Dak come back though? Would he come back to Dallas? Would he? If somebody else goes, well, Dak, Jerry's not going to pay Patrick Mahomes money, but I'm definitely going to give you close to it. So what? Hello, come to my team. So if I was Dak, I would definitely test the free agent waters before I go back to Dallas anytime soon.
I think that's dependent upon what he really wants. I mean, Kaylee, you think he'd take a big bag of money? Or do you think he's built a legacy in Dallas and wants to continue to build there?
I mean, I think it's a legacy for him. I don't know. I think his goal is to be the face of a franchise. And I think when you're looking at opportunity, even though Dallas might not be America's team anymore, but that is still a probably the best place to be the face of a franchise, bring them back to a level of greatness that they haven't seen for a long time. The issue is that like they're not going to pay him what Patrick Mahomes is making, especially now that he's injured. But I think he might be able to get the best of both worlds because right now they're pretty desperate. And they're looking at Andy Dalton, they're looking at who they have, and they're saying, man, we thought we were bad before. No, we're pretty bad without him. So I think it's going to be tough for them it's really going to be tough for them not to pay him. And I could see a few people making offers and throwing some money his way. But I think if you're looking at both sides of the coin, I think if you can get Jerry Jones to open his checkbook and really invest in who Dak is as a player and their future, then I think you'll get the best of both worlds. But I think he's going to have a great career there. I just think this is just not it. Their defense is pretty bad. This is the worst case scenario for him with this team this year. So either way, they would have had a very short run in the playoffs if they do get there, which, like we said, pretty much anyone in that division can.
If you're Jerry Jones, do you keep rolling with Andy Dalton, or do you find somebody else to maybe come in, or is it already too late to do something like that? Because of the way they played last night, but of course you're playing in the NFC least. I mean, you're gonna possibly win the division no matter what, even with Andy Dalton behind center. But like the way they played last night and the way he was playing was god awful. So I don't know if you stick with him the rest of the way, or you maybe go and find somebody that can maybe do it for you.
Blake Bortles is available.
Blake Bortles is available.
There you go.
That is
See,
very
you
true.
know what? I think that the dude, Jerry Jones, this is the most, in his eyes, the most prestigious franchise in the NFL, and I think they're worth the most. I think they're worth what, $2 billion, $3 billion, something like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, he will not stand for if they go out next week and I don't know who they're playing, do the same thing. I think that's a great question, Al Bushman. I don't know if they sit. I mean, the 7th rounder went in last night that they drafted. I don't know what his name is for one series, and he just handed it off. Which, if I'm Andy Dalton and I've gotten spanked that bad at home at the Star, I'd be like, wow. I might have just gotten paid, and a rookie who got drafted in the 7th round.
And Dalton got a nice little paycheck coming to Dallas as a backup too. So I mean, that's money that Jerry Jones said, well, you're gonna be my backup if something happens to Dak, and I'm gonna pay you this type of money. And now he's not living up to the expectations. Now, if I'm Jerry, I would be looking around to make a trade somewhere. Like, hey, Jameis Winston, come to Dallas or something like that. I don't know. I mean, Jameis Winston's got a clipboard in hand in New Orleans and not going to be starting anytime soon. So if I was Jerry, I would start looking to see if I can bring a veteran in to maybe help out and do something with the team. But I don't care because it's Dallas. I don't care.
That is true.
I would love to see them just keep sinking and that ship just blows up.
Subterranean explosion.
Exactly.
I'm not going to wish that on any team, but you guys, I appreciate that strong sentiment, the emotion behind it. I can feel. So let's talk week 6 winners and losers, right? We had a lot. I mean, I feel like every week we have a few surprises. Teams we thought were going to hold up aren't really holding up. Who is your loser for the week? And is it time for anyone in the league right now to be hitting the panic button?
I mean, panic button. If I was a loser, I mean, we kind of covered the 2 teams, I mean, that I think are the biggest losers. I mean, the Cowboy, kind of the 2 teams we just covered, I think. Buffalo, you're not slamming the panic button, but you're definitely worried. You need to regroup and get back to where you are. And if you're the Cowboys, I mean, you had Super Bowl aspirations coming into this year. And you're in Dallas, you're sleeping with a panic button, calling it names and punching it in the face. So, yeah.
I would say the loser of the week would be Kirk Cousins.
I feel like that's a little bit of a personal.
That's a personal
bias
vendetta.
feeling.
Yeah,
That's
Not a vendetta. Look, listen.
it is a vendetta.
He sucks. He's definitely the
awful.
loser of the week. He's god awful. Like that was one of the worst performances I've ever seen out of Kirk Cousins ever.
Well, he's garbage time, man. He ended up with 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, but that's garbage time,
Fantasy
Chip.
Day is okay.
That's garbage time. That's garbage time, man.
There's
Come on.
There's stats.
Garbage man. Kirk Cousins.
man.
Garbage man.
If you are the Patriots, are you hitting the panic button? I mean, just looking at what their inability to make decisions later in the game when they could have really just closed it out and gotten a win. What do you think? I mean, is Cam the real deal? What are we looking at for the Patriots going forward?
I thought about that question too, and I was watching First Take, and they were talking about the Patriots and everything about Cam Newton. I wouldn't push the panic button just yet, because come on, you're led by Bill Belichick. Bill's going to make the right tweaks and turns to make this team a lot better. They're definitely relying too much with him running the ball too much. He needs to be back in the pocket and just trust his receivers, even though he really got nobody except for Edelman back there. So with the Patriots, it's an interesting thing because they've got a good running back crew. It's just with Cam, it's maybe the COVID made him a little messed up in the head for having COVID too long. But I was
loose there, Cam.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about the Patriots. I think Bill Belichick's going to be he's going to make things happen, and we're going to move on to next week. That's what we're going to
Got to cut your sleeves off.
Yeah, we're going to.
New England doesn't have a panic button with Bill Belichick at the helm. They threw theirs out when they signed Belichick a long time ago, so they're not panicking.
Yeah.
Especially in that
That's fair.
division now, with Buffalo losing, I think with Belichick now, this could be an opportunity for him to like, all right, well, the Bills lost 2 in a row, and we're going to take control of the division. We're going to be like that. So yeah,
I think Bill Belichick is retiring soon because he's doing more Subway commercials. He's spending more time away from the game, and he's getting a lot more media coverage. So I think he's leaving soon, guys. That's what
Subway, the bread that's not really bread.
That's
We're
right.
seeing a lot of personality from Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
So who
Color.
are your
so
week-
colorful.
Yeah, he huge, big personality over there. Week 6 winners. I'm going to ask this question knowing exactly who L. Bushman's going to say, but we'll start with Chip because there's no surprise with Evan. So, Chip, who is your Week 6 winner of the week?
I want to share. Well, first of all, this is the only time in NFL this season that I can say this: the Falcons won. Holy crap!
The only team in Atlanta to do so. So
yep.
there
So we
go.
can celebrate that. But also, I think the winners. I have been personally really down on Phillip Rivers. Now it was against the Bengals, but yesterday we saw shadows of the previous Phillip Rivers, a guy who could still quarterback a team. So I just wanted to give props, Phillip Rivers. You're still in there somewhere, buddy. You're still an NFL quarterback. So God bless you and good job. Brought him back against the Bengals. Way to go, buddy.
Why is mine so obvious, Caleb?
I mean, it is. It's
Are
pouring
you
out.
serious?
Why is
Yeah.
mine so obvious?
Look
What
at
is
that
mine?
smile.
You're
Ear to
complete-
ear.
You are like the definition of Homer of anyone I've ever met, and I do respect it as like a big Homer myself. But I can't imagine you don't say Tom Brady and the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
But I could be
if
wrong.
that's-
I
And
was
it's
gonna
fair this week.
I was gonna say Atlanta because they won over the weekend,
Oh, melt my heart. Thank you.
but
That's very
big winners. Yeah, I would say the Buccaneers as a whole, not just Tom Brady. It's the Buccaneers because the way they looked against the Packers looked like a complete team on Sunday. Like the defense, looked like the defenses we were used to back in the early 2000s with Sapp and Derek Brooks and Rondé Barber. That's the defense I remember watching that was good and made the team good too. So watching them on Sunday, I at first thought, because I had picked the Packers to win this game. I was
did.
like, yeah, I did. I was like, you know what? Packers going to go in. Aaron Rodgers is going to shoot. It's going to be a shootout game. Aaron Rodgers is going to come in. He's going to be a bad man. And I ate some Old Crow yesterday or on Sunday. I was like, man, maybe I should keep picking the Bucs to lose and they'll keep winning. So I mean, it works for me. But yeah, they look like a complete team. And if I don't want to jump on that. If the defense keeps playing like this, they're going to win a Super Bowl train, like a lot of the talking heads are on like ESPN and Fox. Like, oh, they keep playing like this, they're going to win a Super Bowl. Let's pump the brakes there, okay? Let's win the division first, and let's get into the playoffs before you can say, hey, they're going to win the Super Bowl. So because that hype train it's up there, but it needs to be down here for a little bit. But yeah, I would say kudos to Tom Brady and the Bucs because they won a big statement game, and that's what they need to do, especially at home in front of a crowd. Some people were there wearing other people's jerseys, but the Bucs the Bucs made a great statement game against the Packers, and Aaron Rodgers even knew it too. He was like, we're gonna have some bumps and bruises, we're gonna get our asses kicked, and that's what they needed to do. And what better team to do it was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So
that's fair. That's fair. I remain a little bit skeptical of the Buccaneers and just whether they can keep that complete team going week in and week out, but we'll see. I mean, it was definitely a lot of fun to watch that young defense actually come together for the first time this season. So I'm excited to see what they do.
Kaylee, I'm glad that you said that because I was on Set the Sales last night, and I said on the show, it's like I still have that nervous thought in the back of my head, like this could still be a disaster. Like they're 4-2 right now, but there could be a collapse of epic proportions coming maybe later on the season, maybe because of injuries, maybe because they start playing like crap. So in the back of my mind, hey, they're playing good this week, but there still could be just a disaster. Like that ship could just go into an iceberg and then sink like the Titanic.
Right. And I think too, when you look at what their season has been so far, I mean, it's been very up and down, right? Like one week they look like they can go to the Super Bowl and win it. The next they're losing to Nick Foles and the Bears, a close one with Justin Herbert and the Chargers. So it is kind of up in the air, but they're fun to watch. So I hope they keep it up. But we're going to head into a new segment, Follow or Fakers. So I'll give you guys some teams that at least I'm a little confused about. Are they the real deal? What are we to expect from these teams? And you guys can give me your thoughts. We'll start with the aforementioned Chicago Bears, who are somehow 5-1. Don't know how this is happening. Keep picking against them, keep losing. So Chip, we'll start with you. Are the Chicago Bears someone to follow, or are they just fakers?
I get the tough one first. I mean, just what you said, Kaylee. Like, this is a team. I mean, you have to be a follower, I guess. Everybody picks against them. They can't find constant flow in the offense, and somehow they end up winning. Somehow their defense is just unbelievable, which is carrying them and getting them in good field position. I mean, I can't believe I'm gonna freaking say this. I'm a follower. I'm gonna believe. I gotta see their next game, but I'm gonna follow them now. I'm gonna take them into the season and see what they do.
I'm gonna say, it's follower and faker?
Faker.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say faker. I think with their schedule coming up, even though it's kind of
it should be easy, isn't it? If I remember correctly.
Okay, they got the Rams coming up, then the Saints and the Titans. That's their next 3 games.
Oh wow.
And
okay.
And then they got the Vikings, Packers, and Lions and Texans. So they could I say faker because the teams they've played, Lions, Giants, Falcons. Sorry, Chip.
And slap me in the face.
That's who they've won, and then the Buccaneers on a weird Thursday night game, and then the Panthers too. So I want to say faker because I think we're going to see the demise of the Bears coming up in the next couple weeks. I say faker.
All right,
okay.
I got you.
Cool split decision. So next team is the Miami Dolphins. They're 3-3. They blew out the Jets, had a convincing win over the 49ers. Are we following them or are they fakers? Where are they going?
I'm going to say follow.
Oh, okay.
I love this team. I love
this team. Okay.
I love this team. I love watching the Dolphins play because they have so many people against them, and they're just almost defying expectations when it comes to their play. And the thing is, like, seeing Ryan Fitzpatrick play, he has nothing to lose. Let's just put it out there.
He's having fun.
Yeah, he's having fun, and that's what I want a quarterback to have is a guy that's got nothing to lose. He's having fun out there. He doesn't care if he has a job the next week. If Tua goes in there, he doesn't care. Like, he's having fun. So I'm going to follow the Miami Dolphins. For the rest of the way.
Okay.
I'm the same way. Fitzpatrick, they had a great lead. Tua came in and had his debut. And Fitzpatrick was on the sidelines hyping up the crowd, literally waving up, like telling people to cheer. Like that's why we love sports.
Feel good moment of
Yes.
the week of the season. I mean, it was honestly like, I'm not even a Miami fan, but I was like emotional. Maybe I'm just an emotional person, but I was feeling it. I was like, I love this. The culture that Brian Flores has been able to turn around in that building and go from nothing and then win games. It's really, really cool to see them having a good time, to see Ryan Fitzpatrick having so much fun. And then that whole situation with Tua, I was like, this is the best thing about football.
And
like,
you can't not follow a guy that's got a magical, mythical beard like Ryan Fitzpatrick. That's one of the reasons why I am growing mine back, is to be in the same beard league as Ryan Fitzpatrick. So
fear the beard. We have to connect.
Fear the beard. I mean, dude, when the guy comes out in a tracksuit when he was with the Bucks on that game, when he was wearing Deshaun Jackson's clothes, I have a newfound respect for Ryan Fitzpatrick, because he looked like Conor McGregor's cousin.
Yeah,
came out like that. So I'm following the Dolphins the rest of the way. Even if they're bad the rest of the way, I'm still following them, because they're probably going to be fun to watch with him under center.
That's fair. That's fair. So we'll close out with one last one. The Tennessee Titans. I feel like we're in this situation every season. Now, I'll put aside my bias, my anti-Titans bias, and just say they remain undefeated. They had an overtime win against the Texans. But I feel like we go through this season after season where they look like the real deal. They're a little sneaky up front, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh, they're undefeated midseason. So what can we expect? Should we follow them? Are they going to go back to the playoffs, kind of continue the momentum they had last year, or are they fakers? Because I've heard some hot takes about them being perhaps the most overrated undefeated team so far.
Chip?
I don't know. I mean, if we look at it now, they're getting ready to have to climb a hill with Taylor Lewan tearing his ACL. So he is their anchor, their tackle. Derrick Henry cannot be stopped. He is a runaway truck with just freaking everything you need as a running back. So, I mean, I'm gonna say follower, because Ryan Tannehill is underestimated and continues to be underestimated, and he's happy with it. He doesn't care. He's like, everybody, I'm gonna go do my job, put us in a position to win, and just don't lose. And I can hand the ball off 20 times, and I know we're gonna win. So yeah, I'm a follower. I like it. Go
Listen,
Titans.
we're not the debate edition of Sports Caffeine. That's what the nightcap is for. So if me and Chip have to agree on things, that's okay. That's why we're the morning show. I'm going to say follow, because Josh Norman's still looking for his soul when he was pushed away from him the other game.
Yeah.
But I want to give really big kudos to Mike Vrabel. He's a very underrated coach, because did you guys notice how he drew that penalty for 12 man on the field? And they got extra time back to score that game-winning touchdown. That's good coaching. So I trust Mike Vrabel and the Titans the rest of the way. Now, granted, they're going to probably keep rolling and be undefeated the rest of the way. Probably not. When they got to play the Ravens coming up here in a few weeks, and they got a tough test against the Steelers this coming week. So do I think they're going to roll right into the playoffs? I think so. But I like watching the Titans play, because they're just crushing people. And the way they're getting coached by Vrabel is whoever's doing the hot takes about saying they're an overrated team, keep saying it, man, because that's just going to fuel the fire to the Titans train right now. So,
but you mentioned one team I think that could be slipping into faker mode. What's happening to the Ravens? Almost losing to the Eagles, not getting a good run game going, not using Mark Andrews. I mean, I don't know what the story was with that, but Ravens better get your stuff together. Mark Ingram got injured as well, so I don't know.
I think people have figured out the way they're running their offense now. That's why they're having close games like this. And they're not the exciting team they were a couple of years ago. I think people have figured that out by now about how they run their offense with Lamar.
Yeah,
we'll have to see.
I agree. Yeah. Any last thoughts before we close out?
Dude, I loved this past week. You had a lot of nail biters, and you had great games, and you had some teams taking that step forward to pull them out of the depths. Falcons, Colts. I'm excited for Phillip Rivers. They have a ton of talent. It's just almost like he's been on cruise control, and he had to get maybe his starting job was going to be taken away. Like you heard rumors of Brissett, or maybe even Jacob Eason coming in, their draft pick from Georgia, to take the seat. So maybe he just needed some motivation. So big week of games coming up. See if the teams that kind of stepped into the light can continue.
It's game 1 of the World Series tonight. We've got Glasnow versus Kershaw on the mound. It's going to be a fantastic
Pure
series.
nastiness tonight.
It's
Pure
going to
nastiness.
be a pitcher's duel, which I'm hoping it is. But so yeah, it's game 1 tonight. I've got a Twitter bet with some Twitter people, so I'm hoping.
Twitter friends.
Twitter fans.
Oh, fans.
Twitter
Okay, sorry.
fans.
I don't
Sorry.
have any fans. No, yeah, game 1 tonight, man. I'm excited. World Series, it's on like Donkey Kong. Let's go.
Awesome.
Rays.
Well, go Rays. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Sports Caffeine. Follow us on Twitter at Sports Caffeine 1, on Facebook, YouTube, and fanstreamsports.com. That's it from Sports Caffeine.
Raise up.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Sports Caffeine. Available for streaming on fanstreamsports.com and FanStream Sports, the app.